Ni hao, pessoas que não sabem passar vergonha com um político dos Estados Unidos. Tudo bem com vocês? E o CEO do TikTok foi lá no Congresso dos Estados Unidos de novo, sobre alguma questão de segurança para as crianças em redes sociais e tal. E aí esse político aí que tá na cara passou vergonha.
Is TikTok under the influence of the Chinese Communist Party?
No, Senator, we are a private business.
Okay, so you can see that your parent, ByteDance, is subject to the 2017
A dança da mordida. Não, é a empresa que é dona do TikTok, a ByteDance.
National Security Law, which requires Chinese companies to turn over information to the Chinese government and conceal it from the rest of the world. You concede that, correct?
Senator, the Chinese
That's no
business,
question. You conceded it early.
any company that does, any global business that does business in China has to follow their local laws.
Assim como a Tesla, assim como a Volkswagen, assim como a BMW, com qualquer empresa que está aqui, inclusive a empresa que eu trabalho, que é europeia.
Isn't it the case that ByteDance also has an internal
Mordida
Chinese
de Deus.
Communist Party committee?
Like I said, all businesses that operate in China have to follow their local laws.
So your parent company is subject to the national security law that requires it to answer to the party. It has its own internal Chinese Communist Party committee. You answer to that parent company, but you expect us to believe that you're not under the influence of the Chinese Communist Party?
Uma coisa não tem nada a ver com a outra, né?
I understand this concern, Senator, which is why we built
Okay, it was
Project Texas.
it was a yes or no question. Okay. But you used to work for ByteDance, didn't you? You were the CFO for ByteDance?
That is correct,
In
Senator.
April 2021, while you were the CFO, the Chinese Communist Party's China Internet Investment Fund purchased a 1%
Ele era o Chief Financial Officer, né? O diretor de financeiro da ByteDance na China.
stake in ByteDance's main Chinese subsidiary, the ByteDance Technology Company. In
Mordida
return
de
for that so-called 1% golden share, the party took one of 3 board seats at that subsidiary company. That's correct, isn't it?
It's for the Chinese business.
Is that correct?
It's for the Chinese business, yes.
That deal was finalized on April 30th, 2021. Isn't it true that you were appointed the CEO of TikTok the very next day on May 1, 2021?
Well, it's a coincidence.
It's a coincidence that
It
you were
is.
the CFO,
Senator,
that
it
the
is.
Chinese Communist Party took its golden share in its board seat, and the very next day you were appointed the CEO of TikTok? That's a hell of a coincidence.
It really is, Senator.
Yeah, it is.
Assim, esse cara tá jogando pro gado dele, né? É só isso, né? Só isso. Tem um monte de gente falar que ele, é porque passou vergonha, tá? Até eu falei, comecei o vídeo assim, mas o cara tá jogando pro gado dele, né?
Okay. And before ByteDance, you were at a Chinese company called Xiaomi, is that correct?
Yes, I
Xiaomi.
used to work around the world.
Where did you live when you worked at Xiaomi?
I lived in China,
Where
like many
exactly?
expats.
Não sei que empresa é essa, Xiaomi ou Xiaomi, não sei.
Where exactly?
In Beijing, in China.
How many years did you live in Beijing?
Senator, I worked there for about 5 years.
So you lived there for 5 years.
Yes.
Isn't it the case that Xiaomi was sanctioned by the United States government in 2021 for being a communist Chinese military company?
I'm here to talk about TikTok. I think they then had a lawsuit and it was overturned. I can't remember the
No,
details.
it
It's another
was the
company.
Biden administration that reversed those sanctions, just like, by the way, they reversed the terrorist designation on the Houthis in Yemen. How's that working out for them? But it was sanctioned as a Chinese communist military company. So
Porque assim, né? Como eu já falei nos outros vídeos, são os Estados Unidos quem decide quem é terrorista e quem não é, né? Não interessa se os Houthis estão lutando pela liberdade deles, dentro do país deles. Os Estados Unidos falar são terroristas, são terroristas. E aí a gente vê o livre mercado, são os Estados Unidos sancionando a empresa chinesa.
you said today, as you often say, that you live in Singapore. Of what nation are you a citizen?
Lá vem, agora
Sim.
que ele vai passar vergonha, mais ou menos.
Singapore.
Are you a citizen of any other nation?
No, Senator.
Have you ever applied for Chinese citizenship?
Senator, I served my nation
I'm
in
asking-
Singapore. No,
Não, até porque para conseguir cidadania chinesa é bem complexo. É quase impossível.
I did not.
Do you have a Singaporean passport?
Yes, and I served my military for two
Do
and
you
a half
ha-
years in
Do you
Singapore.
have any other passports from any other nations?
No, Senator.
Your wife is an American citizen. Your children are American citizens.
That's
Have you-
correct.
Have you ever applied for American citizenship?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Ok. Ai, ai.
Have you ever been a member of the Chinese Communist Party?
Não, cara.
Senator, I'm Singaporean. No.
Assim, existem casos muito específicos que um estrangeiro pode ser membro do partido. No começo, era liberado para qualquer um. Mas hoje em dia, é praticamente restrito a chineses. para ser membro do Partido Comunista. Aí ele perguntou se o cara era membro do Partido Comunista Chinês. Ele falou, não, eu sou da Singapura.
Have you ever been associated or affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party?
No, Senator. Again, I'm Singaporean.
Let me ask you some hopefully simple
Caraca,
questions.
é que assim, ele não pode ser filiado ao partido, né? Como eu falei, é muito, muito, muito difícil para um estrangeiro, quase impossível. Mas existem formas dele ter relacionamentos com o partido de alguma forma, né?
And you said earlier, in response to a question, that what happened at Tiananmen Square in June
Ah.
of 1989 was a massive protest. Did anything else happen in Tiananmen Square?
Os caras foram lá para falar de TikTok, ele tá falando de Praça da Paz Celestial.
Yes, I think it's well documented. There was a massacre.
There was the indiscriminate slaughter of hundreds or thousands of Chinese citizens. Do you agree with the Trump administration and the Biden administration that the Chinese government is committing genocide against the Uyghur people?
Senator, I've said
O cara tá falando dos uigures, né? Ai, meu Deus do céu.
this before. I think it's really important that anyone who cares about this topic or any topic can freely express
Very
themselves on
simple.
TikTok.
It's a very simple question that unites both parties in our country and governments around the world. Is the Chinese government committing genocide against the Uyghur people?
Senator, anyone, including
Como eu falei, ele tá jogando pro gado dele, porque esse tipo de pergunta, o cara tá perguntando pro CEO do TikTok se ele acredita, né, que a China tá fazendo um genocídio contra os uigures. E aí, voltando no assunto ali dos grupos terroristas, o grupo separatista do Turquestão do Leste, que é o grupo terrorista mais ativo em Xinjiang, era um grupo terrorista, inclusive considerado pelos Estados Unidos, até que eles começaram a usar esse grupo terrorista para o movimento separatista e os Estados Unidos falaram, olha, não é mais um grupo terrorista, acho que foi em 2018 ou 2019. E aí o que acontece, esses caras podem receber financiamento do governo, podem receber treinamento, mas assim, é mágica, né?
you can come into
Yes, sir.
TikTok
Yes, sir.
and talk
Yes, sir.
about this
I'm
topic
asking you,
or
yes
any
or no.
topic
You
that
are a
matters to you.
worldly, cosmopolitan, well-educated man who's expressed many opinions on many topics. Is the Chinese government committing genocide against the Uyghur people?
Actually, Senator, I talk mainly about my company, and I'm here to talk
sir.
about what
Yes, sir.
TikTok does.
Yes or no? You're here, you're here to give testimony that's truthful and honest and complete. Let me ask you this. Joe Biden last year said that Xi Jinping was a dictator.
Xi Jinping.
You agree with Joe Biden? Is Xi Jinping a dictator?
Você acredita que... Ai, cara, que vergonha.
Senator, I'm not going to comment on any world leaders.
Why won't you answer these very simple questions?
Senator, it's not appropriate for
Are you
me as a
scared?
businessman to comment on world leaders.
Are you scared that you'll lose your job if you say anything negative about the Chinese Communist Party?
I disagree that. You will
Are you
find
scared
content
you'll
that
be
is critical of
arrested and
China on our
disappear the
platform.
next time you go on? Are you scared that you'll be arrested and disappear the next time you go to mainland China?
Senator, you will find
Isso acontece com gente dos Estados Unidos, né? Chelsea Manning, querem fazer com Assange, tentaram matar o Assange várias vezes. Isso acontece muito nos Estados Unidos. Nos Estados Unidos tem gente presa em Guantánamo até hoje, inclusive Guantánamo, que é em Cuba, né? Uma prisão dos Estados Unidos em Cuba, sem julgamento, né?
find content that's critical of China and any
All right.
other country freely on TikTok.
Okay. Let's turn to what TikTok, a tool of the Chinese Communist Party, is doing to America's youth. Does the
Os caras estão nessa narrativa mesmo, né?
does the name Mason Edens ring a bell?
Senator, you may have to give me more specifics if you don't mind.
Yeah, he was a 16-year-old Arkansan. After a breakup in 2022, he went on your platform and searched for things like inspirational quotes and positive affirmations. Instead, he was served up numerous videos glamorizing suicide until he killed himself by gun. What about the name Chase Nazca? Does that ring a bell?
Would you mind giving me more details, please?
He was a 16-year-old who saw more than 1,000 videos on your platform about violence and suicide until he took his own life by stepping in front of a plane or train. Are you aware that his parents, Dean and Michelle, are suing TikTok and ByteDance for pushing their son to take his own life?
Isso é o que a gente gostaria que tivesse no Brasil, né? Uma legislação para justamente limitar as redes sociais e o poder delas, né? Isso é um absurdo. Ninguém deveria ter acesso a esse tipo de conteúdo em qualquer tipo de rede social, ou TikTok, ou Facebook, Instagram, qualquer uma, né? Isso não deveria acontecer. E seria interessante perguntar para esse senador sobre o genocídio que aconteceu em Myanmar com o suporte do TikTok, né? O apoio do Facebook, que foi tudo organizado dentro do Facebook. Todos os grupos de terroristas budistas, né, que queimavam vilas de muçulmanos, já que eles se importam tanto com muçulmanos, mais de 1 milhão de muçulmanos foram expulsos de Myanmar Paquistão, se eu não me engano, Bangladesh, não me recordo agora. E eles estão vivendo lá como fugitivos, basicamente, né, por não serem mortos, já há um bom tempo. Isso tudo organizado dentro do Facebook. Os terroristas em Xinjiang se organizavam dentro do Facebook. Então, o Facebook tem um histórico gigantesco trabalhando com isso. O que os Estados Unidos fez? Os Estados Unidos usam o Facebook para isso, né? Esse é um dos problemas.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Okay. Finally, Mr. Chu, has the Federal Trade Commission sued TikTok during the Biden administration?
Senator, I cannot talk about whether there's any
Are you
ongoing...
currently being sued by the Federal Trade Commission?
Senator, I cannot talk about any potential lawsuits,
I didn't
whether
say
they happen
potential,
or not.
actual. Are you being sued by the Federal Trade Commission?
Senator, I think I've given you my answer. I
The
cannot
answer
talk
is
about.
no. Ms. Yacarino's company is being sued, I believe. Mr. Zuckerberg's company is being sued, I believe. Yet TikTok, the agent of the Chinese Communist Party, is not being sued by the Biden.
Faz isso que eu tô falando, o cara jogando pro gado dele, falando, o TikTok, que é um agente do Partido Comunista Chinês, não está sendo processado pela administração Biden.
Administration. Are you familiar with the name Christina Kafara?
You may have to give me more details.
Christina
Senator.
Kafara was a paid advisor to ByteDance, your communist-influenced parent company. She was then hired by the Biden FTC to advise on how to sue Mr. Zuckerberg's company.
Senator, ByteDance is a global company and not...
O cara acha que tem uma ligação, né? O Biden... Porque, assim, nos Estados Unidos eles vendem essa ideia de que o Biden é esquerda, né? Tipo, socialismo. E no fim, os republicanos são muito, muito direita e os democratas são menos direita.
A Chinese Communist company is owned by global investors.
Public reports indicate that your lobbyist visited the White House more than 40 times in 2022. How many times did your company's lobbyist visit the White House last year?
I don't know that, Senator.
Are you aware that the Biden campaign and the Democratic National Committee is on your platform? They have TikTok accounts?
Como qualquer outro político deveria ter, né?
Senator, we encourage people to come on
Which,
to
by
create
the way,
organic,
they won't
authentic content.
they won't let their staffers use their personal phones. They give them separate phones that they only use TikTok on.
We encourage everyone to join, including yourself, Senator.
So all these companies are being sued by the FTC. You're not. The FTC has a former paid advisor, your parent, talking about how they can sue Mr. Zuckerberg's company. Joe Biden's reelection campaign, the Democratic National Committee, is on your platform. Let me ask you, have you or anyone else at TikTok communicated with or coordinated with the Biden administration, the Biden campaign, or the Democratic National Committee to influence the flow of information on your platform?
Os caras tentando cavar o negócio.
We work with any creators who want to use our campaign. It's all the same process that we have.
So what we have here, we have a company that's a tool of the Chinese Communist Party that is
Eu
poisoning
tô
the
falando,
minds
só
of
pra jogar,
America's children,
só pra jogar pro gadinho dele.
cases driving them to suicide, and that at best the Biden administration is taking a pass on.
Aí falaram que esse político aí acabou com o CEO, mas depois o político, eu falei, né, só jogando pro gadinho dele, não fez nada mais do que o que a gente espera de um político burro, né? O que rola na CPI do Brasil não é muito diferente disso.